Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm hoping you guys are all having a fantastic day. So today's upload is going to be a video about the long range outlook. We haven't had a talk about the long range in a while. If you recall, I've not been really uploading too many videos at all. Obviously things have been just hectic all around, but my last videos that I did release were about the winter storms that were occurring, and that big storm that did occur in unfortunately led to a lot of severe weather in the south, dropped several close to almost 2 feet of snow across portions of the Midwest, upper Midwest. And now let's just talk about the long range and see what's upcoming, see if there's more snowstorms, if there's more cold, if there's more severe weather, just stuff like that. So stay tuned. I will be talking, just giving you a outlook for next week, maybe week and a half, about what's to come. So if you like this weather-related content, please consider subscribing. If you don't, perfectly fine. If you're a returning viewer, if you could like the video, that would be always very pleasant. So let's get right into this. We're looking at the GFS model, global forecasting system, and this model is generally used for the long range. It's not really used for high resolution. It's used for situations like this where you just want a good look at what's to come. Now, it's a really long range model. It goes out to 384 hours. The European goes out to 240. So European SONAS is a little bit better for the first 240 hours, but then the GFS still gives us a relatively good idea. Usually the European and GFS have, a degree of agreement and also a degree of disagreement. So let's look at this. Right now we're looking at a very cold air across the country, and that was followed by very warm conditions, which led to that big severe weather outbreak and a big storm across the eastern portion of the United States. But right now we're looking at very chilly conditions, and in fact there could be some record lows across portions of the southern plains, Oklahoma, Kansas, into Missouri and Arkansas. But notice we get a little bit of snow, a little snow system tonight into tomorrow across the Illinois, Iowa areas. You live in southern Illinois, southern Chicago, Iowa, central Illinois. You could see a little bit of snow out of that. But that moves through. We are still dealing with very chilly temperatures, very blustery conditions, and more like early March, late February conditions than mid-April. So yeah, it's definitely unpleasant. But then the next storm we see, it comes off it's a northern piece off the jet stream, comes off the Alberta, Canada, British Columbia, and that moves down into Colorado and moves off through the west, and that's where the jet stream is, because the pattern that we are in right now is the jet stream coming up from Alberta, moving into the south and out through the east. So this is why the cold air is allowed to move in, but this also brings in any precipitation that comes in from the north. It just swoops it across here. And notice that with this next system, what we see is a decent system could be occurring across Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, and Iowa, Missouri. You can see a little bit of snow possible, so that is definitely something noteworthy, but it's not going to be awfully too significant. This is on a Thursday to Friday time frame, so most of the snow will be gone, during the day, but it doesn't seem to intensify across the East Coast and Northeast, which is good news. There's not going to be a nor'easter or any sort of that stuff. But if you're to look at this total snowfall accumulations, they're definitely unnoticeable. You can see that the GFS actually puts out quite a bit. Now, I don't think that there will be, as indicated by this 13 inches of snow. Let's zoom in on this. You can see that they're showing over a foot of snow in some locations. I could see that maybe half a foot will fall across some of these locations, but 9, 13, 10 inches, a little bit overdone, and I don't think that really it has the energy to do so. The pattern right now, or neither will that snowstorm. But we'll have to keep monitoring things, and I'll show you the European model opinion on that as well. Notice then we get a little bit of break in that. We see those warm colors, we have this 540 line up here, and we have the line that is right below the 540, kind of creeping up towards the Iowa, Illinois area. Again, if this was an average typical April 19th day, the 540, this blue line would be somewhere up here probably, way across Canada. It's still further relatively down south, and the conditions are therefore below average. And if we were to look forward, it kind of makes a comeback, but it's definitely not as deep as this one is, where you can see the 540 line is extending into southern Tennessee, northern Georgia. This one is definitely present, but a warm up after that is pretty I guess it's there for a while and could be pretty dominant. You can see that it just we don't see that blue line for a while, and it seems like that will be the pattern. Now the GFS puts on with this second cold air mass right here across Sunday into Monday. a little bit further south than what the European does, but you can still see that the temperatures are going to be below average, but they're not the horrendously below average. You know, the extremely below average are going to be left reserved for the southern parts of Canada. And even when it is below average, let's look at 18Z Tuesday, so that's middle of Tuesday. Let's look at the 2-meter temperature shaded. You can see it's not awfully bad. We have 50s all the way up in the Canadian border, 50s down through Kentucky, and 40s. So it's chilly, but it's not, you know, brutal. Your crops aren't going to freeze because of these temperatures. I think the worst that's happening in terms of the cold is right now, and we probably won't see this sustained cold for the rest of the season. I mean, the season's basically done. Winter is basically out of here. But again, we probably will still see a few surprises, maybe a few cool downs, maybe a brief snowstorm like the one that's forecasted possibly for this upcoming weekend, or this upcoming Friday, like I showed you across the Midwest. Let's look at the total snowfall accumulations for the NAM model. It's a little bit more of a high resolution. You can see, okay, they're showing quite a bit of snow. They're showing 10, 12, 11 inches. And now, again, I don't think there will be that many inches of snow. But yeah, it's just that snowstorm is maybe a little bit overdone, especially with it being late April. And usually, or mid to late April, late spring, mid to late spring. Early to mid spring, but late winter, and usually when this time frame, the models sometimes tend to overdo some of these snow systems, and you can see they have quite a bit of snow, and I think the European model does a better job of that. Let's look at the European 15 millibar geopotential height and MSLP, mean sea level pressure. Okay, and you can see that they have this very cold air mass right here. We have that storm that just exited parts of the U.S. Most of the U.S. it was affected by that storm, and then you can see that that cold air shifts out of there. Really nothing tremendous out of this Friday storm. You can see a little bit of a low trying to develop right there, but nothing too significant. And then we see that really that weaker second phase of cooler air trying to make its way in by next Sunday, Monday. But that really just fails to do so. Cools things off maybe slightly, but again, it'll feel much warmer compared to what we've been seeing here. So it looks as if, again, one cold wave, which is going on right now, followed by a little bit of a warm-up coming Saturday, and then maybe a slight cool down Sunday, Monday, and then, you know, just a warm pattern, a warming trend, and it doesn't seem like a big cool down is on its way after that. There may be, but again, it probably won't be as significant as what's going on right now. So let's look at the European model and what it's showing in terms of snowfall and temperatures. So usually the European is regarded as a better model for these type of scenarios, these snowfall scenarios, and you can see that really it's definitely doing a better job, more realistic scenario. Let's look at regional. Let's go to Midwest as where this will be occurring. You could see maybe up to 6 inches in like the isolated amounts, but generally it's a 2 to 3 inch event and staying to the south, which is a little bit unusual. It's pretty far to the south for this time of the year. You can see that this would be occurring around the April 17th, 18th time frame. But this is through 240 hours. But otherwise, you know, from this week, there won't be any much snow falling after that. As the following weeks, again, it will be warm. So, again, maybe cool for now. But the main takeaway from this long-range forecast, a little bit of up and down temperatures for next week. Generally cooler now and warming up throughout the weekend and really warming up into next week. You can see that each day, I mean, like, say, tomorrow, for example, you could see Wednesday, the 18Z, you could see that's, I mean, 40, 38. That's just miserable. That's very, very cold. Many locations not even getting out of the freezing points across Wisconsin. So if you were to look at, and by the way, just to put it in perspective, the averages, say for Chicagoland area right now is close to 60 degrees across these locations. So we're well 20 to 25 degrees below average across these locations. And you can see during the nights, it's just that frost. Notice how here it's much colder. That is because of the snowpack that's still there because of that weekend snowstorm, the Easter snowstorm. Then we have that system on Friday. You can see by that marked cooler temperatures right there. If things start warming up, generally you can see maybe up to upper 40s, lower 50s for the Midwest, and that's generally widespread other than the central areas where central Illinois, central Indiana, central Ohio, where we could have that little snow system where it could have dropped a little bit of snow, keeping the temperatures a bit cooler. And then after that, you can see it gets colder across those locations much quicker because of the snowpack that's down. But it seems Saturday will be just very nice and warm. And again, the European seems to be better with these type of temperature outlooks in the GFS. Sunday looks to be equally as warm, if not warmer, across the southern locations. And then if you were to look at 18Z, it gets very warm across the Midwest. And sorry, I've been focusing on the Midwest. I should really be giving you a national view of this. Okay, but it's generally the same case. It's gonna get warmer throughout much of the country as we go further and further into time, and the only areas that will be below average is maybe the Northeast and parts of the Upper Great Lakes region. So you can see, this is not loading for some reason, but I'll take it back once it does load. Alright, we got it to load, and you can see that this is Saturday, 18. Let's go to 18Z, which is basically like the daytime high. You can see pretty nice and warm, and that's generally across much of the United States. The South getting actually very warm, and then the Northeast staying a little bit chilly. And then let's go into Sunday. You can see the warmth spreads a little bit further up, and again, a warming trend, very warm across the West as well, the Southwest. Notice that the Monday, it seems like things may be cooling off. Not really. We see 60s. 70s widespread even into parts of the Northeast. So, you know, as soon as we get these couple of days over with, it seems like winter is probably done with. And, you know, I can't really say completely done with, as you know, we've seen snowstorms really late April like we did last year. But it really seems like this is the last attack of winter, and you know, this is what's in our long range, just widespread 60s, 70s. So very nice weather. You can see this is a European model showing Wednesday, very nice and warm as well. Possibly a storm system right here is marked by those abnormally cooler temperatures compared to the rest. You can see it's so silly. South Dakota, where they saw that heavy snow a couple days ago, is in their 70s, very warm. We go through Thursday. Let's go through the temperatures. Yeah, again, very nice and warm. Maybe not above average across the Northeast. You can see it's still a bit chilly, but it's definitely much warmer than what we're seeing now, which is probably what people want to hear the most. This probably will still change. The temperatures will fluctuate, but the European model does a very good job of observing this and putting out accurate information, even as far out as 240 hours. So that is definitely it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Consider liking this video, consider subscribing to this channel, consider checking out my gardening videos. It's in the description box below, the link, and I will continue making these videos, guys, for you throughout the summer and fall and winter especially. Some people thought that just because I'm doing my gardening channel as well, I'm gonna stop uploading here. I'm not doing that. I'm gonna keep uploading here, just maybe a little bit less frequent through June, but probably not less frequent than what has been happening. So thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next episode. See ya. Bye.